Hello, my friends, and welcome to Shadow at Night. This is Friday, September 13th, 2024. And on the show tonight, what is a sanctuary city? What is it exactly? There's a definition out there. And how many cities across the country, Canada, are in fact sanctuary cities? How many cities support the sanctuary city program, either tacitly or openly? We've got that information coming up. And Justin Trudeau said something stupid again today. I mean, can the guy go a week without saying something stupid or bald-faced lying, which we'll show you he did the other day tonight, like blatantly, talking about Canada's economy being one of the strongest in the G7 and the G8? No, it's not. But anyway, Justin Trudeau suggested that, yes, he absolutely supports Ukraine firing NATO long-range missiles into Russia because I guess they want to start World War III. Keir Starmer, the new Prime Minister of the UK, met with Joe Biden. Give me that Trump hat. I'll put that on. Did you see that video? Oh, my God. It was only for a couple of seconds, and maybe Biden was sticking it to Kamala, or maybe he just didn't realize what he was doing, or maybe he thought he was making a joke. Anyway, Biden met with Starmer this afternoon to discuss these long-range missiles, these NATO, Western nation missiles, long-range missiles going deep into Russia. Even though Putin has said, if you guys do this, we're going to go to war with all of you, not just Ukraine. It's tense. So could this be World War III, my friends? Could we be on the brink? I mean, was Trump spouting rhetoric? Or was he actually bang on when he said, we haven't been this close to World War III ever, during the debate the other night? And will anybody even notice it, or will they be busy on their phones? Oh my God, that looks so good. You had cherry cheesecake for your dessert today at Stella's? God. Meantime, bombs going off behind him. Fires everywhere. I don't notice that stuff. The Shadow at Night live stream is brought to you by Canada Nano Silver, CanadaNanoSilver.ca, the facial serum. This is one of the best-selling products on the entire website, and for good reason. The facial serum stimulates stem cell activation. It's an anti-inflammatory. It doubles as a natural preservative to keep the product clean and to prevent the need of harsh preservatives, cleanses the skin, promotes natural healing. It translates into faster healing and regeneration for more youthful skin. The hyaluronic acid has two molecular weights, ensuring the HA can reach the deep layers of your skin, providing hours of intense cellular hydration and softness. Diminishes wrinkles and fine lines. This is something I think everybody wants as we get a little bit older. Well-hydrated skin, greater skin firmness, reduced skin discoloration, attract and retain up to 1,000 times its weight in water. There's all kinds of information on the facial serum here on the website. All you need to do is go and check it out along with all of the other awesome products. CanadaNanoSilver.com. Again, that is CanadaNanoSilver.com. If you go to CanadaNanoSilver.ca, which is the old website, this website is the brand new, updated, refurbished website. But if you go to the old one, CanadaNanoSilver.ca, it will redirect you to this brand new website. So either way, you're golden. If you want to buy retail, if you want to go to somebody and say, I want to go through these products, I want you to demonstrate for me how they work. Some people actually do that. You can find a retail location probably near you on the retail locations tab on the website, CanadaNanoSilver.com. And if you would like to become a retailer of these awesome products, then get a hold of Kevin and Anna through the contact tab at CanadaNanoSilver.com. Again, that is CanadaNanoSilver.com. Guys, we haven't done a Friday night show since June, I think. It's been a couple of months. It's been a while. It's been a minute. And we do have a story going back to June tonight regarding the Calgary water situation we're going to get to. Let's go and say some hellos. Who's watching the show tonight? First to Rumble. And I want to go right back to the top of the comments because I saw something that made me chuckle and feel a little bit sad at the same time. We've got Winston Smith watching on Rumble tonight. Winston is a great, big, huge contributor to the content of this show. He is looking for stuff all day long, every single day, and sends me stuff. Some of it I use, a small fraction of it I use, some of the stuff I don't, but I want to thank you, Winston Smith, for doing that for me. Lone Arnie is watching tonight from White Rock, British Columbia. And that name, Lone Arnie, it made me laugh for Lone Arnie. And then I went, Lone Arnie, aw, Lone Arnie. So everybody, if you're watching on Rumble tonight, please send Lone Arnie a, hey, how's it going, man? Hope everything's all right for you. Unless, of course, Lone Arnie is only just kind of joking around. I'm okay. Don't worry about it. I might be alone, but I'm not lonely, if you know what I'm saying. Patty Lamb is watching tonight from where we pick our strawberries in Manitoba, Haddishville. Howie is watching tonight. Notable. Tammy BB is watching tonight. Patricia 0711. Esky Dogs, Amnesty. Jasmine Cat is watching from the Sunshine Coast tonight. V Styles is watching in North York in the GTA tonight. If you're watching on Rumble, guys, don't forget, hit the share button beneath the screen. Give us a thumbs up, first of all. That's the biggest thing that you can do to help the show on Rumble, and it's 100 million followers. Rumble has got 100 million users, so let's get this show out in the Rumble community by hitting that thumbs up. Then you can go ahead and hit the share button beneath the screen. That'll highlight the URL above your screen. From there, you can copy and paste into your favorite location, social media, email, group, whatever it is. Who else is watching tonight? Let's see. Regina is watching tonight, I think, on Facebook from Arizona. Hello, Denise, watching in Nova Scotia. Mike is watching in New Bothwell, Manitoba tonight. Sandy is watching tonight. Hello, Patty Bell and Beausejour, and Christy is watching tonight. Greg, Dawn, Colleen, Debbie, Bill. Have you guys forgotten to tell me where you're watching from? Some people still do, but other people just jump right in. That's all right. That's all right. If you're watching on Facebook tonight, go ahead and like and share it. If you're watching on, please like and share it. Let's get this out there to as many people as we possibly can. Don't forget to do that. If you're watching on Rumble tonight, I make that X tonight. It is a repost and a heart. And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to smash that like button. It's very important we do that. Next week on the show, people have been asking me, hey, Shadow, how come no guests this week? I did that intentionally. I wanted to get back in the swing of things, considering I was off last week. All kinds of news going on this week, and there will be next week as well, but I will make some room for guests next week. Maggie Hope Braun is going to rejoin the show next Wednesday or Thursday night. Maggie, if you're watching right now, just tell me which night you want, and away we go. And I know that you've got some news you want to share, so you're absolutely more than welcome to come back on the show at any time. And 12-year career paramedic Chet Chisholm is going to be joining the show next week with some interesting statistics from the government's own websites regarding COVID-19 and its transmission or lack thereof, and how many people were actually hospitalized versus how many people think were hospitalized. It's a big disparity. All right. Is World War III going to happen? Well, this is from the CBS News website. As you can see, this story filed by the AP, the Associated Press. Russian President Vladimir Putin warned late last night that a decision by the U.S. or its NATO allies to allow Ukraine to use Western-supplied long-range missiles to hit targets deep inside Russia would be viewed as NATO's direct participation in the war, which he said would significantly change the very nature of the conflict. Remember, we don't have any business being over there in the first place because Ukraine is not a member of NATO. They're a member of the UN, but guess what? So is Russia. Matter of fact, Russia is one of the 5 permanent members on the UN Security Council. Canada's not. Now, of course, all of the Western powers and the NATO allies have been saying, well, this is an illegal war. Well, there's a lot of illegal wars that go on. We don't stick our noses in those, but we do this one. Why? We have absolutely no standing to be involved in this conflict in any way. This is a very old conflict. It goes back centuries, for goodness sakes. Flight assignments for these missile systems can, in fact, only be entered by military personnel from NATO countries. Ukrainian servicemen cannot do this, and therefore, it is not a question of allowing the Ukrainian regime to strike Russia with these weapons or not. It's a question of making a decision whether NATO countries directly participate in the military conflict or not. That, again, from Vladimir Putin, He said that late yesterday. If this decision is made, it will mean nothing less than the direct participation of NATO countries, the United States, and European countries in the war in Ukraine. Joe Biden brushed it off this afternoon, brushed off that threat, although I wouldn't call it a threat, I'd call it a basic statement by Putin, and says Ukraine's allies will probably allow these long-range missiles into Russia. Kiev has been pleading to NATO to be allowed to do this. And I don't know how it is that NATO has got any say in this at all. Why does Ukraine need to go to NATO for permission to do anything? It makes no sense to me at all. Does that not insinuate NATO's already directly involved, regardless of whether these long-range missiles get fired or not? Ukraine and many of its supporters in the U.S. and Europe want Biden to lift restrictions on Western-provided long-range weapons, and there are signs Biden might shift the administration's policy. We don't know. Keir Starmer, the new PM of UK, met with Biden this afternoon trying to coax him into it. This is what Justin Trudeau said about long-range missiles being fired into Russia by Ukraine
Vladimir
today.
Putin says Russia will be at war with NATO if Ukraine uses long-range missiles deep into Russia. How far into Russia do you think Ukraine should be able to strike?
Vladimir Putin is striking regularly in the heart of Ukraine. He's sending missiles and bombs at hospitals, at daycare centers, at families and communities across Ukraine. And it was his choice to invade a neighboring sovereign nation. His choice to start this conflict, and it could be his choice to end it tomorrow. All he has to do is pull back his troops into Russian territory. But he won't do that. He is not just trying to remove any choice that Ukraine...
I'm sorry, but and again, we're playing that game. How long can I last, right? How long can we all last listening to this buffoon speak? Because every time he opens his mouth, it's a complete embarrassment to our country. Completely. Especially in this case. He's talking about war. And really, what can Canada contribute in this situation? Nothing. Our military has been significantly weakened by these clowns. And so we really don't have much to say about this, or shouldn't anyway, because it's all empty threats. It's empty. Every single thing that a Canadian even if Poilievre got up there, and I'm sure he would have the good sense to not, doesn't matter. Representative from Canada going in there saying, hey, Vladimir Putin, like if Russia decided they wanted to walk into Canada and start kicking ass, that wouldn't be a thing. It wouldn't last for any longer than 5 minutes. Seriously. We haven't got the capability, and yet there's Trudeau rattling a saber that he doesn't have. It's embarrassing.
Canadians have around where they want their future to go, remove their independence, remove their sovereignty. He's trying to deeply destabilize the international rules-based order that protects us all, not just in every democracy around the world, but in all countries around the world. Any country with a neighbor with a slightly larger army should be worried if it suddenly becomes allowed to invade and redraw lines on the map. And that's why Canada and others are unequivocal that Ukraine must win this war against Russia. And we will continue to be there to support Ukraine. And yes, Canada fully supports Ukraine using long-range weaponry to prevent and interdict Russia's continued ability to
shut up! I can't
degrade
take it. It's
Ukrainian
you know what?
civilian interests.
No more. No more. We already know where he stands. We don't need to listen to him prattle on anymore. By the way, if this does become a full-blown World War III situation, we have to stop and think about, and this probably should have been, brought up months and months ago, and it probably has by some people, but it hasn't been, widely discussed. Who are Russia's allies anyway? Militarily, financially, Who does Russia hang out with? Well, North Korea. They are friends with North Korea. They're friends with India and China. Here's an article that goes back to September of last year. The China-Russia axis takes shape. Foreignpolicy.com is the website you can find this on. The bond has been decades in the making, but Russia's war in Ukraine has tightened their embrace. So there's that hybrid version of Xi Jinping and Putin together. In July last year, nearly a dozen Chinese and Russian warships conducted 20 combat exercises in the Sea of Japan before beginning a 2,300 nautical mile joint patrol, including into the waters near Alaska. These two operations, according to the Chinese Defense Ministry, reflect the level of the strategic mutual trust between the two countries and their militaries. Okay, I want everybody to understand something here. And India, did I mention India? India's got kind of a loose partnership with Russia as well. And they've got a very large military, regardless of what anybody thinks. and you know, we don't think of India as a big military power. But remember, there's 1.3 billion people that live there. And yes, they do have a very large and very strong military. Imagine India, China, and Russia all getting together and saying, okay, NATO, what do you got? What do you got? I can't imagine that NATO would be able to say much, considering the fact that even though, even if we couldn't match, because the United States Navy is larger than all of the navies in the world combined. So naval, definitely NATO wins that one. But ultimately, nuclear weaponry, manpower, no, they don't win that one. I think NATO would probably have to sit down and shut up for a while. And then again, keep in mind also that our militaries are woke and they've been transed. I'm not sure if that would have an effect on the way they fight. Maybe, maybe not. So Justin Trudeau says the economy is projected to grow faster than the U.S. economy next year. It's so strong, cutting back on government spending is wrong because Canadians are struggling. Trudeau is not fit to be prime minister. This from X is corrupt on X. Let's listen to what Trudeau says.
Right now, the Canadian economy is projected to grow faster than the U.S. economy next year. We have the lowest deficit in the G7. The countries and companies around the world are investing in Canada to record degrees.
Okay, so let's go and watch this piece from the CBC and see what's really going on.
Canada's economy is sliding dramatically compared to the United States. In 2023, the U.S. reported a GDP per capita of almost $65,000. That is compared to Canada, which is just over $45,500. So, how did Canada stray so far from the United States? Broadly, does this stem from the U.S. doing something really well or Canada doing something really poorly?
Well, that's a great question. So if we look at last year, you gave the 2023 data. For Canada, that's just slightly below where the Canadian economy was per person 10 years prior to that, back in 2014. Whereas in the United States, we've seen growth of over 19% by that measure. But it's not just us versus the United States that's diverging. Right. Our position relative to the G7 has also been deteriorating. Our divergence with all advanced industrial economies in what's called the OECD group of countries. 2024 might be the...
In case you didn't bother to read underneath this guy, this is Trevor Tombe, the professor of economics, or one of them anyway, at the University of Calgary.
First year where Canada falls below the OECD average. And that is a sharp reversal from the roughly 10% advantage that we held for the quarter century between 1990 and 2015. So it's not just a unique...
Oh, wait. We held an advantage economically from 1990 until 2015. What happened in 2015? Does anybody remember?
American success story. It is really a story about Canada's economy lagging behind where we'd like it to be.
Yeah.
Canada's
So remember in 2015, that's when the genius Justin Trudeau stood in front of the country and he said, and the budget will balance itself. And the budget will balance itself. And people still voted for him. I mean, that's why I worry so much about what's going on in the United States right now after Trump's, let's be honest, dismal performance the other night at the debate. Yes, he did get in a couple of good shots, but ultimately I thought that Harris made him look unprepared, let's just say. Was Harris being helped by the moderators, the ABC moderators? I believe she was. Did she have an earpiece? Maybe. Who knows? Was she given the questions beforehand and Trump was not? Maybe. Was there a secret agreement in place with ABC and the Harris campaign that allowed her to see the questions beforehand? Apparently, there's an ABC whistleblower that's willing to talk about that, but we haven't seen any of that yet. But anyway, I worry that the United States is going to elect an idiot as their president, and not just an idiot, but a Marxist, like an actual one. Her father was an expert on Marxist economies. And by the way, I don't know if you can really call anything Marxist an economy, because it's not really. It's a dictatorship. It's a totalitarian regime imposed upon the people. And the only way they can do that is by force. And once it's in, you can't get it out. Right? And I worry that they're going to vote this person in based upon how much they hate Donald Trump. I really worry about that. I mean, if Canada, let's be honest, we were, up until 2015, we were always voting in sensible people. Now, they may have been working behind the scenes with the World Economic Forum. Sure. Brian Mulroney seemed like a pretty reasonable, experienced statesman. Jean Chrétien? Sure. Paul Martin? Yeah. Stephen Harper? Yeah. Justin Trudeau? Come on. How did that even happen? And look what's happened since then. All right. This is a website called CanadianLabour.ca. It's the Canadian Labour Congress. And they talk about global forced displacement crisis going on right now in sanctuary cities. So let's go ahead and read through some of this stuff. Say, we're in the midst of a global crisis in forced migration and displacement. Really? They just make that statement. They don't give us any explanation as to why. Is it because of war? Is it because of climate change? What is it? No, they just keep going. According to the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees, we're now witnessing the highest levels of displacement on record. At least 65.3 million people have been forced from their homes. For what reason? Well, in 2015, the most recent year for which statistics are available, 24 people were forced out of their homes every minute of every day. Oh, I see what they're going for there. Trying to make it like urgent. Every minute of every day, 24 people. Nearly half are children. There's an estimated 200 to 500,000 non-status migrants in Canada. Non-status migrants may include, but are not limited to, people who have had their status revoked, been coerced by traffickers, or had their refugee claim denied. Many have experienced conflict, violence, persecution, and human rights violations. And I don't dispute that. Many probably have. But then again, I'm sure there's many that have not. Non-status migrants are seeking asylum in Canadian municipalities, and municipalities can and must respond. Ooh, is that a direct order? Non-status migrants in Canadian municipalities. In Canada, non-status migrants live and work in profound and constant fear. If they're detected, detained, and deported by immigration officers, their lives and families would be uprooted and their chance to be a part of our communities and country destroyed. Social isolation and ever-present fear of detection and deportation makes them an invisible population in our communities. I don't think so, not anymore. And could take on a very heavy toll on their physical and mental health. Non-status migrants' precarious immigration status makes them vulnerable in their daily lives in the community as well in their employment. Non-status migrant women who are also racialized, Indigenous, LGBTQ, and or a person with a disability are most vulnerable. Of course. Migrants also experience increased insecurity and violence as a result of the racism, Islamophobia, and anti-immigrant sentiment. In other words, the people who have lived here for a very long time and helped to build this country and have been paying taxes for years, decades, we're the bad guys. Having sanctuary city designations in municipalities from coast to coast to coast will not only place Canada on the map with respect to responding to a global crisis, it will mean that Canadian municipalities are taking an active stand against racism and xenophobia. Many municipalities are taking great strides towards being more inclusive and barrier-free communities. Becoming a sanctuary with an adequate support for non-status immigrants can be a part of that approach. Municipalities can choose not to ask for information about immigration status and not share information unless directed by law. While immigration is regulated federally, municipalities can help protect migrants and their families. That's what a sanctuary city is. In other words, if a migrant, an illegal migrant, is doing a crime in a sanctuary city, police can't touch him, depending on the direction of the city, the mayor, the city council, the bureaucrats. And of course, the chief of police or the commissioner, whatever the title of the top police officer is. No, we're not going to touch any of these people. You just leave them be. Canadian municipalities can protect migrants through a sanctuary city designation accompanied by comprehensive training and implementation of best practices to support individuals and families with precarious immigration status. A sanctuary city provides access to municipal services without fear of detention, or deportation for residents without full immigration status and or without full status documents from the federal government. The sanctuary city designation is effective and meaningful only when accompanied with strong municipal policy implementation, training for municipal management and staff, as well as a public education campaign. To date, Toronto, Hamilton, London, and Montreal have sanctuary city designations. Vancouver has adopted a policy, access to city services without fear for residents with uncertain or no immigration status, taking their action to support non-status migrants beyond the standard designation. And they go on to explain how a sanctuary city designation helps all residents. All right. So here is the map. We're going to show you an interactive map of the cities. Let me see if I can make this bigger here. Yeah, all right, here we go. Of the cities who are showing tacit support, meaning, yeah, we support you, but we're not going to say it publicly because people are going to get pissed, accepting, and then supportive, all right? So we're going to make this a little bit, right, okay. Look at the major cities here. You can see Edmonton shows yellow. That means we're showing you support. All of the lower mainland here, all of the island pretty much is showing support. Look at this, across the board. Winnipeg, even the smaller places in Manitoba, Dauphin, Arborg, Brandon, Altona, Regina, Weyburn in Saskatchewan, Prince Albert, Saskatoon, Marathon, Ontario, for goodness sakes. Sault Ste. Marie, not on that list. North Bay is Bracebridge, Toronto, Brantford, all of the GTA pretty much, and then all of southwestern Ontario as well. Into Quebec, look at all this. It's all about supporting undocumented migrants in Canada. So how long is it going to be before we wind up with the same situation that Springfield, Ohio is facing right now? And we're going to get into that in just a second. Here is a video by a guy called Justin Newell from Ontario. It's a TikTok video, and I believe, I'm going to make this screen bigger. I believe it shows a family of Indians netting fish in a river. Let's go ahead and watch this.
You guys know that's very illegal, eh? You guys know this is very illegal, what you guys are doing? What's your guys' names? You're netting fish, yeah. You're netting fish, which is extremely illegal. You go to jail for that. You guys understand that? I've been videotaping you guys for a while. What's your guys' names?
Won't matter. You can go ahead and videotape them all day long, my friend, and it's not going to do you any good because if they're protected, they're protected. That's all there is to it. Police are not going to be able to do anything about it. And it's only going to get worse until it stops. Question is, what's it going to take for it to get to that point? I was suggesting the other night that Donald Trump was dumb for bringing up, they're eating cats in Springfield, Ohio. They're eating the dogs. By the way, there's a rap video out there that's been made using that. I might have that for you guys in the extension tonight on shadowdavis.com for all access members. I thought it was pretty funny. But what's it going to take? Like, Donald Trump said that. I said it was dumb for him to say that, but it's been very quick for people, news crews, to head out to Springfield, Ohio from all over the world and see what's really going on over there. And while there hasn't been any actual proof of Haitian migrants or protected immigrants or whatever they're called these days, protected asylum seekers, actually eating cats and dogs and geese, there have been photos of them. There have been documented police reports of people observing this behavior in real time, but we haven't actually seen it on video yet. What we do have are city officials denying there have been any police reports, and the police department in Springfield itself saying, no, we haven't received, even though we know they have. Staying in Canada for a second, staff at grocery stores, pharmacies in Calgary's East Village will begin wearing body cameras as a security measure. From City News, Real Canadian Superstore and Shoppers Drug Mart, one location in Calgary anyway, taking matters into their own hands when it comes to addressing increasing violence. The locations are now partaking in a pilot program in which management employees are equipped with body cameras. For the next 3 months, some employees at the East Village Superstore and the adjacent Shoppers Drug Mart will be wearing body cameras throughout their shift. The locations are participating in Loblaw's new pilot project aimed at reducing the number of violent incidents in the store and making it safer for customers and employees. Seriously. So why do you think we've got all this crime going on now? It's just increasing like crazy. Oh, I know. But if I say it, I'm a bigot. All right, we're going to get back to that in just a second. There's another story that I've kind of been talking about and touching on for the past few months. And I'm going to talk about it tonight because it looks like repairs are ahead of schedule when it comes to the water situation in Calgary. Finally, this is over 3 months since the situation began with that burst pipe that apparently is the feeder pipe for the entire water system to every place in the city of Calgary and its outskirts. So water restrictions, they're saying, according to the Calgary Herald, are expected to end by September 22nd, which is a week ahead of schedule. City officials say long-awaited repairs to Calgary's Bearspaw South feeder main will be completed as early as this weekend. There's Jody Gondek, who is the mayor of Calgary. All right, great. Good for you guys. That's fantastic. But how did it get to this point in the first place? You remember me talking about the fact Calgary is the 4th largest metropolitan area in this country. It is ahead of Ottawa. It's ahead of Edmonton. It's ahead of Winnipeg, Hamilton, Quebec City. It is the 4th largest metropolitan area in the entire country with a very, very, very sophisticated infrastructure. So the infrastructure of this pipe system was supposed to be good for 100 years. It's in its 49th year right now. Nonetheless, it still should have to go through some kind of inspection, at least yearly, right? Just to make sure that it's working and nothing's going to break. It's not getting rusted out. It's not, flimsy in any areas, especially considering this is the main feeder pipe. This is the one that intersects all of the water pipes that go to every area of Calgary. You would think if you're going to inspect any part of the water system, this would be the part of the system that you inspect first and most, right? Okay. So here's an article from the Calgary Herald that goes back to June the 13th. And it's from Rick Bell, who writes, City of Calgary water pipe not inspected, didn't see a problem. And then Mayor Gondek says, well, all questions will be answered in due time. What does due time mean? 3 months later, no questions have been answered. We're just saying, oh, we're going to get the water back soon. But no answers as to how this happened in the first place. So this is how this story starts, and I find it amusing because, again, it goes back to June the 13th. The man did some homework overnight. The man will lay out his case, and you, in the court of public opinion, will come up with your verdict. Do you buy it? Do you not? Do you think there should be more information? Do you think someone from outside Calgary City Hall should take a look? Right off the top on Wednesday, again, back in June, at the Calgary Emergency Operations Center, City Hall deep thinker Francois Bouchard has something to say. The day before, he had nothing to say about when the ruptured water pipe was last inspected and what the inspection showed. Bouchard had to have figured out that he had just 24 hours to come up with something. Otherwise, the heat would be turned up. You want answers. How did we get to where we are? Hearing those daily reminders on the do's and don'ts of water using, because, of course, the restrictions have been in place mostly for the last 3 months. Bouchard takes to the podium. The City Hall big shot says he will answer what the city knew before the pipe burst. They didn't expect the pipe that ruptured. This important pipe was not inspected. He says there was no indication the section of the pipe was being stressed. He says the pipe is 49 years old with a lifespan of 100 years. The city's regular modeling of the pipe did not give any indication a physical inspection was even required. The pipe operated within its pressure limits. Bouchard says acoustic monitoring provided no indication the pipe was experiencing issues. The City Hall higher-up says a physical inspection would have required a shutdown of the pipe, putting stress on all the other pipes. Excavation to visually inspect the pipe would increase the risk to the pipe unnecessarily. What burst anyway, dude? Then there was what Bouchard calls a catastrophic failure, and we are where we are. Bouchard goes on to say this is not a case of failure evolving gradually. He talks about a metal pipe developing a crack and the crack over time slowly opening up. You'd start seeing a change in the performance of the pipe, and you might be able to react. So basically what this City Hall bureaucrat is saying to you guys in Calgary, who are still under water restrictions and will be at least for another week, we don't know. We don't know what the hell happened here. We haven't got a clue. We are completely baffled. We don't know. We don't know. So it makes you think that maybe, and again, I am only spitballing here, but maybe this was kind of an intentional thing, just to see how the people might react to water restrictions. Because we have already touched on the fact just this past week on the show here that COVID in and of itself was an experiment to see how people would react to these ridiculous restrictions. So do you think that maybe this was another experiment and Calgary happened to be picked as the test city? Okay, this next video, I'm not going to play all 10 minutes of it. It's quite disturbing. Jackson Square is a mall in Hamilton. And there's a guy sitting on these steps right here, as you can see, right there, with his dog. Just sitting there with his dog, having a sit down, whatever he's doing, taking a break from a walk, whatever. When all kinds of security guards show up and start harassing him, telling him to start leaving the property. Now, I'm going to make this bigger so we can all see it better here. I was not going to say that this should have anything to do with racism, but people are so keyed up about all of this right now that I think it might. And I think the racism is coming from both sides here. Maybe it's just a misunderstanding between cultures. Maybe it's these security guards doing their job. I can't see why they wouldn't let a guy sit on the steps here with his dog. There is foul language, a lot of foul language in this video. I want you guys to give me your opinions in the comments on whatever platform you're watching on right now. Again, this is Jackson Square in Hamilton, Ontario. Watch.
No. What are you doing, bud? Yeah, well.
Okay, notice that this security guard here has already got his nightstick pulled out. He's already got his weapon drawn. Let's continue.
Leave him the fuck alone. Doesn't matter. Fuck off. Fuck you. Like uniforms. Going to the fucking mall.
And remember, these are mall cops. They're not police officers. They're mall cops. They're making minimum wage. Let's continue.
That's where your job is.
No, I don't do what you ask me to do. It's a free country. This is private property.
Why are you kicking him off? Because it's... So what? So what? So you pull your fucking baton out, you piece of shit? The fuck is wrong with you? Fuck you. Fuck off.
Get the fuck out of here, man. Okay, go ahead.
I'm recording too, bud. Don't worry.
So this guy here, is he a security guard or is he a gang member? Like he was this short of flashing gang signs, yo. This guy, in my opinion, is probably the biggest problem. But the other guy there with the mustache is not exactly trying to de-escalate either.
You're being nice. You already retracted your weapon on me. No shit, don't touch that. Fraud, what? What do you mean? What do you mean? That's protecting you, this is protecting me.
So back up. He's got his dog on a leash. Get your fucking dog on a leash.
Get out of here.
But whatever.
Oh, you want to stop? What? Where are you going now? What do you want me to do? You want me to throw you on the street?
Okay, so look at this here now. It looks like we've got a Sikh here. We've got an Asian guy here. We've got another brown guy here. There's a black guy over there, all security guards. And again, I'm not saying this should have anything to do with it. But maybe the guy with the dog feels a little bit outnumbered as a white guy in Canada. It's just a perspective I'm offering to you guys. I might be wrong. I don't know. But these guys are all ganging up here. And why? Because he's got his dog on a leash. He's sitting on the steps here.
Why don't you tell that guy to go away so he can de-escalate? De-escalate the situation. No, I'm not. I won't. Look, de-escalate it. Send him inside, man. He's the fucking problem. You're a clown, bud.
You guys just talked enough. Take him inside. Where'd he go? What are you doing?
Here comes the guy in a wheelchair to defend now.
This fucking clown, man.
Go back the way you came.
You guys got nothing else fucking to do. You're a clown too. Holy fuck.
You're not even supposed to be around.
Now you got to remember this video is 10 minutes long. You guys want me to keep it going? I can keep it going here. It does get a little bit more interesting as we go further. I didn't have the time to cut it down this afternoon. And I don't know what caused it, which is the thing, because the video starts where it starts, as you guys saw. There was no, like, did this guy with the dog do something for these security guards to be called over and tell him to leave? I don't know. Or is it that the guy was just sitting there minding his own business and these security guards came over and said, you got to get going. It's private property, because they stressed that a few times. The guards are disgusting. That's right, Dale. I fully agree with you. Okay, I'm going to keep going for a little bit here.
Don't look like that, bro. Don't look at me like you want fucking peace. Y'all needed peace before you started.
We asked you to go earlier. And go, please.
No, my dog is clean.
Just go inside, man.
Go inside where?
He wasn't. He was just sitting here. My man, he was just sitting here. He was just sitting here. What? So what? So what? He's allowed to sit there. He's allowed to walk on there. So what? Has he been trespassed for anything?
Keeps it up.
So he hasn't been. So why the fuck are you hounding him like that? Why would you pull your fucking baton out, bud? He was sitting there. Stay the fuck away from his dog then. It's that simple. How about you fuck off? Fuck you. Bunch of fucking clown. You're a fucking clown, bro. You guys think you're the fucking Gestapo, bud? Oh, am I? Oh, okay. Fuck off.
I would tell you that.
Okay.
Bernard!
Okay.
Bernard,
Yeah.
fuck off! This is city street!
This is private property.
We don't care! We do care! We don't
He's not doing nothing wrong, you fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Look, and now he's getting in his face.
Really calm down, and this is a private property.
Do you have the documents for this dog? Do you have the documents for this dog? Is it a service dog or not? She's fucking big. What do you mean? I have everything on it.
Service dog? She's not even in the fucking mall. What do you mean?
You need to get the fuck out of here. Go.
You guys are clowns, man. You're fucking all clowns.
Go. Go. All right. Me make you? I won't make you.
He's
It seems to me that if these security guards were concerned about the guy with the dog in the first place, that maybe they might be doing something wrong, then all they had to do was keep an eye on the guy and the dog from inside without even letting the guy know. But then this guy, the Asian one, comes out, pulls his billy club, his nightclub. First thing he does, and this guy here, this clown here, immediately starts yelling and screaming. For what reason? Is it a power play like Paul Blart, mall cop? Something to make themselves feel big and strong because they're mall cops? They want to feel like real peace officers? I don't know. I would imagine that that could be a part of it. Now, the reason I brought up race earlier is because of what's coming up in this video.
fucking guys.
And again, guys, there is bad language in this, just in case you haven't noticed. If you're just joining us right now, there is some foul language in this video.
She's warning you. No, I want to hurt. She's not fucking telling you shit. But she's telling you if you hurt me, you have. Hey, what do you want to hurt? Go.
Hey, come here, pups.
Stop setting the fucking dog off, you fucking idiot! You guys are setting the fucking dog off.
Get away from him. Then just get away from him. The dog's protecting. The dog's protecting its owner, bud. The dog's protecting its owner.
What? No, she was protecting me.
She was, bud. You guys keep coming towards him. The dog's gonna react. Yes.
You have all that? You have all that?
Everything, buddy. The last 5.5 minutes, man.
Please send me everything.
5.5 fucking minutes.
Look at your white legs. What happened there? Oh, blood bleeding? Are you bleeding? Stop setting the dog.
You know what? Doesn't matter. He doesn't. What do you mean?
Yeah, they did it. They did it, bro. They did it. And you know what? Yeah. It's okay, bro. I got you. But yo, dude, I need that video.
I got you, man.
I need that video.
No, I got you.
She likes him. She knows him. You bad motherfuckers. You are so fucked. You are so fucked. No, I can't go. No, they're so fucked. Let the cops show up. Tim, I'll be right back.
As I know this seems like a trivial confrontation, it's just a little mall confrontation, Hamilton, Ontario, Jackson Square, but it seems representative of what's going on right now. Just the tension in our world, and then the racial tension on top of it, which is what's coming up in just a second.
Guys to show up, kick the fucking shit out of
Right?
You guys are fucked. What you just did? You hit my dog with a fucking baton. No. Yeah, you did. You're fucked, buddy. You're fucked. You're fucked. You're fucked, bud. Please.
I seen that from over
You
there.
have that recorded
It was unwarranted. You were sitting on the fucking step. They come out,
Yeah,
try to pull fucking heavies, because they're fucking clowns.
Hey, bro, no.
Fucking idiots.
You know what? I'm about to land fucking $50,000 on these motherfuckers. You kidding me?
Bro, I got the video for you, man.
No, I ain't leaving. This guy's recording. You know what? What they did? Unwarranted. Record all you want, buddy. I'm right here. My dog is not lunging at you.
They're gonna request those pictures.
100%. 100%.
You approached him. You all approached him.
You all
What do you mean? You got in his personal space. And then you're talking some shit about it's not a service dog. It doesn't have, who the fuck cares if it is? He's sitting on the fucking steps. You had no fucking right. No fucking right, buddy. Fuck off, you clown. You're a clown, bud. You're a fucking clown. Fuck. Yeah, I will. I will. You fucking
raise
losers.
a baton on my dog?
Fucking.
Haven't you seen it?
You got. She was calm as fuck. She was calm as fuck. Shut up. Shut the fuck up. Nobody wants to hear you. She was calm as fuck. You guys.
Everyone have a life, okay?
You guys interrogated her.
As well.
Shut up.
We are talking to you really calm, and we're just telling you to leave, and you didn't left. Save his life.
You guys pulled a baton on him. You pulled a baton on him because he was sitting. And this guy, I seen it. He was sitting there.
Yeah, so it was a private property. And
Just stay back from him. Why would you tell him? Why? He's not cut. Was he causing a problem? Was he causing any kind of fucking problem? What? Sitting on a fucking step, buddy? This is Canada. We can sit on a fucking step. We can sit on the fucking steps. We can sit on the steps. We can sit on the steps, buddy. Fuck you, you fucking clown. Fuck. This is how you treat fucking patrons that come in here to spend fucking money? You guys are fucking idiots, man. Every fucking one.
All right, so that's enough. And that's the end anyway. And that's the this is Canada part. You could see that there may have been some kind of showdown developing there. The video doesn't continue after that, but I don't like the way this is going. Was it just a stupid mall confrontation that got blown out of proportion? I mean, all of those security guards standing there like that, 6 security guards standing there, you know, with their hands, their thumbs up in their protective armor, looking tough, forming a line over a guy and his dog sitting on the steps. I mean, really? Understanding these other 2 guys plus the guy in the wheelchair were mouthing off back at them, but still not really making any provocative moves. It's just a bad situation we're in right now, man. And I think it has everything to do with the immigration issue. And I'm not going to say racism. I think Canadians, people who have been here for a while, old stock, let's call them, old stock, old school, Canadians are feeling threatened that their homes are being taken away. Every time you turn around, it's this. When a platoon of new Canadians, or we don't even know if they're Canadians or not yet, could be undocumented immigrants like we talked about before, because of the status they're given, start threatening you in your own country. I don't like the way this looks. I don't really like the way this is going. And yet, the government continues to do it to us. Again, guys, this is like the red ants and the black ants in the same jar. They're doing it. This is what it is. They're doing it. They're doing it. Yes, I do know of people who are being kicked out of their apartments in Manitoba. I'm not sure if this is going on in other provinces, but I do know that in Manitoba, people are being asked to leave their apartments at the end of their leases and not being allowed to return because new people are coming into their apartment. They're claiming it has to do with fixing up the apartment. But what's happening is these immigrants or asylum seekers are coming in paying, in some cases, double of what the old rent was. And these people are being left without a place to go because there are no other apartments to rent. It's a difficult situation. Going back down to the United States now, and we're going to get to Springfield, Ohio, in just a second. In Texas, a hotel temporarily shut down following Tren de Aragua takeover. What? I got to get rid of this. How do you get rid of that? As the immigration crisis in the United States was brought front and center at Tuesday's presidential debate, a hotel in Texas is being forced to temporarily close its doors following being taken over by the deadly Venezuelan gang Tren de Aragua. This week, District Court Judge Maria Salas Mendoza issued a 90-day injunction which will permit the El Paso County Attorney's Office to close the Gateway Hotel because of continuous criminal activity at this establishment. Senator Ted Cruz says Venezuelan gangs have taken over the Gateway Hotel in El Paso. It's the same gang that took over apartment complexes in Aurora, Colorado. Democrats are directly responsible for this invasion, and it's coming to a town near you. This hotel has apparently been a hotbed for illegal activities. A surveillance video that's been publicly shared showed people partying, drinking, smoking, dancing provocatively while children are present. At least one gun being shot, men holding knives, another man with a hatchet assaulting people and causing damage to the hotel in front of a security guard. Maybe we needed those Hamilton security guards down there at this hotel in El Paso. This is according to the El Paso County Attorney's Office, Christina Sanchez. She also noted that children were present at the incident. So that's happening. Not just in Springfield. 3 cats found mutilated. This is graphic. 3 cats found mutilated, cut in half with paws cleanly chopped off. No blood at the scene in Houston, Texas, in less than 2 weeks. That story comes from the Gateway Pundit. Here is Glenn Beck talking with one of his reporters who is on location in Springfield, Ohio.
In Springfield, Ohio, talking about the Haitian influx to see what's really going on. He's our national correspondent, Julio Rosas. Welcome.
Yeah, Glenn, thanks for having me.
You bet. You got there yesterday?
I got in late Monday night, yes.
Okay. So what have you found on the ducks and the geese and the everything else?
Well, I can tell you that it is an issue that has been raised to the city for months. Months before this got brought to the national attention, last week into this week. I can't speak to how widespread it is, but it's been enough of a problem that people have been saying, "Hey, we've been seeing this. I've heard about this. Can the city look into it?" And from my understanding is, and not just with the duck issue, the pet issue, but overall any issue that residents have been raising over the 20,000 Haitians being put into their city. A lot of the residents feel that the city commission is just not listening to their problems, or they're unwilling to do anything about it because there is a lot of money being involved in the decisions, because they're these Haitians, they have jobs. I mean, and so that's why they're able to be here legally, and they have protective status.
Wait. They have jobs?
Yes.
How did they do job placement for 15 or 20,000 Haitians?
It's through a temp agency called First Diversity. It's based here in Springfield, and that's one of the tension points within the American citizens here, is that everything seems to be revolved around accommodating the Haitians first and the American citizens second. And that's why they're so upset at the city commission, because the city commission appears that they want to make Springfield seem as accommodating as possible to the Haitian population, which includes not towing cars of unlicensed drivers. Surrounding communities are having to do that. because admittedly, they're not very great drivers, and it's caused, some people have been killed. There have been accidents on the road, but Springfield, in the past, has just not been willing to tow their cars whenever there's been an accident or whether they've been caught driving recklessly. And so that's one of the reasons why people no longer drive into Springfield to shop. I was in Tremont City, which is just 5 minutes to the north. They no longer go to the Kroger or the Walmart in Springfield. They go to the cities up north to do the shopping because they say even being on the road is too dangerous.
I gotta believe that a town that small. I mean, Kamala last night said it was a mid-sized town. No, it's not. That's 50,000 people is a small town in America, and I gotta believe you put 20,000 immigrants from anywhere that are not, looking to blend in and be part of society. I got to believe that has totally changed the culture. And if I were a resident, I'd be pissed. Who is the federal government to do this to my town? Is that the feeling you're getting from people?
Yes. I was at the city commission. So while most people were getting ready for the debate last night, I was at the city commission meeting that they have. And a few people spoke during the public comments portion where one woman, she's 58, she's elderly, she lives on the south side of town, and the south side of town is where most of the Haitians have been put and are living at now. And she says she doesn't even leave her house anymore without her gun and her 120-pound pit bull because she has been followed, she has been groped by Haitians, she's been accosted verbally, and she said, I'm very worried about the women of this town because they're very aggressive towards women. And that was just one person, but there's a lot of, yes, the pet issue is one thing, but even on the housing alone, what's been happening is that landlords have, you say you have a family of 4, the landlords don't renew their lease with them. And then they replace them with up to 15 Haitians. They're not even renting the house. They're renting beds. They're charging them, I've been told, $200 a week for just the bed. And it was explained to me that the bed never gets cold because there's just a constant rotation of people that use it for those 8 hours. Then they go to work and then they come back and it just starts all over again. So you put, six, you put, 2 sets of bunk beds in a room, that's 6 people, right?
That's the way it works in China.
Yeah. Yeah. And so the landlords are getting a lot more money from this, and the city isn't enforcing the fire codes. So because that's a fire hazard when you have that many people crammed into one, a 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom place, but you have 15 people inside, that's a fire hazard. But the city has refused to enforce the codes, again, to try to accommodate the Haitians as much as possible. And
I can guarantee you that if you saw something like that happening in your city and you called the fire department or you called the police department and you complained and said, hey, man, there's 9 people living in this 2-bedroom apartment and that's against the fire codes. I want something done here. They would quietly sweep it under the rug because of the sanctuary city thing and the protected status of these folks. In other words, it would just continue on and on and on and on. Amazingly. We have, as the extension is getting set to go on shadowdavis.com for you all access members, we have a great video from Dr. James Lindsay discussing the politics of compliance. The target is you. The target is me. The target is us. That is coming up. Rebel News, David Menzies and his gang went down to Springfield, Ohio to talk to some of the folks down there, and this is part of what happened during
did
his
you
trip.
expect such a fallout in terms of media coverage, in terms of former President Trump mentioning this on the debate a few nights ago?
What they have done to our country by allowing these millions and millions of people to come into our country, and look at what's happening to the towns all over the United States. And a lot of towns don't want to talk. It's not going to be Aurora or Springfield. A lot of towns don't want to talk about it because they're so embarrassed by it. In Springfield, They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
What are your thoughts?
Be careful what the fuck you ask for.
Another thing before we continue on with this, and this is going to be the last thing we do tonight before we go to the extension on shadowdavis.com. This guy curses a lot. I'm not sure if Rebel has managed to bleep out everything, but there's a lot. This guy, big time cursing. All right, let's continue.
I was concerned for the people in Springfield, Ohio. I was concerned for their safety. I was concerned for the amount of traffic accidents. I was concerned that a lot of stuff was different that was going on that the city, I feel like, of Springfield wasn't handling correctly. Main concern was definitely the accidents in traffic, which was nonstop, that I actually documented, and I thought it was like obscene. I'm like, man, you know, we all have family out here in traffic, and the way that I don't know how it's working with the traffic shit, but a lot of people didn't know how to drive, and a lot of people were getting into wrecks,
and we know for certain that tragically an elementary school age child was killed in a traffic accident.
I don't think their family want to keep having that mentioned.
That is indeed what they've said. They don't want it to be politicized.
You just said it.
What's that?
You just said it.
Well, I did, but I'm just trying to.
Let's just go to the next one because they said they don't want to talk about it.
Okay, fair enough.
Just respectfully, just don't even put that in because their family started that.
I'm just trying to help you make your case about traffic.
Okay, you have a valid point.
Okay. All right. So, all right. Well, Anthony, certainly the most sensational thing about what's happening in Springfield, Ohio, allegedly, is Haitians capturing wildlife, capturing pets, using them for food, using them for ritualistic sacrifice.
Nobody ever said that. I don't know who the fuck said something about some cats or dogs. Okay. I don't know nothing about no cats or no dogs, bro. Okay. I never seen no cats or no dogs. None of that shit happening. I never seen that shit in real life. I heard of
it. Wasn't this guy talking about? Okay, he was talking about a goose on the big viral clip on Twitter. Maybe it was the goose he was talking about, not the cats or dogs. So maybe he does have a point. Let's continue.
Fucking saying cats is coming up missing, but I ain't never seen that shit in real life, bro. On God. What the fuck was we talking about? I'm all over the place. I've never seen that shit happen in motherfucking real life. All I said was, people are in the parks getting ducks and grabbing them up by their head and cutting them off and walking off and eating them because this is a rumor going around the city.
I'm riding on the trail going to my orientation for my job today, and I see a group of Haitian people. There was about 4 of them. They all had geese in their hand.
I brought it to the attention of the city council, who needs to look into it. I did not know the whole fucking world, even the BBC News, Fox, ABC, Dr. Phil. I didn't know all these motherfuckers was going to come into looking this. I'm going to tell y'all just like this. I ain't never seen no motherfucker eat no cat or no dog. I don't know where that came from. I never said that shit. So I don't know nothing about it. If I knew something about it, I would have said something about it. I never said no shit like that. I don't know where the fuck I don't know where that came from.
Well, you know, Anthony, that is exactly why we've driven 10 hours to Springfield, Ohio. We want to find out what's true, what's false. Anthony, I guess the question arises, do you regret addressing Springfield City Hall?
Yeah, I will never help these niggas a day in my life. I will never help people a day in my life again. You know what? I see why people are selfish. I see why people only worry about themselves. I see why people don't help people. I see why people stay to their own self. I see why there are introverts. I see why this world is really honestly fucked up. A motherfucker that got out here that really tried to help his community because motherfuckers were wrecking non-fucking stop, and then you gotta deal with all this bullshit? I don't like this shit. I wanted to be an influencer. I wanted to do what Kai Cenat and Drewski doing. I wanted to do what fucking Duke Dennis is doing, what all of them is doing. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to help this community. I seen that people were wrecking consistently. People were getting hurt. I did not want that to happen to me or none of my loved ones. And I don't know how the fuck. cats and dogs arose from that shit. I said something about some goose because people were in the fucking park concerned with their kids because they seen a motherfucker do it. So I brought it to City Hall's attention. Thank you for all the people that actually gave.
All right. That dude is speaking from the heart, obviously. You guys may or may not have seen the video by Tyler Oliveira. This is a young man who has been reporting on this kind of thing for the past couple of years. He's built up quite a following on YouTube. I think he's over 1 million people over there now. So I played this, I think it was on the extension last night. And he goes to Springfield, Ohio, and he talks to people on both sides of this situation. He talked to a lot of the Haitian immigrants there. He knows Spanish, so he spoke to some of them in Spanish. He doesn't know French, which is another one of the dominant languages in Haiti. So he had to have an interpreter there. And he also spoke to a lot of longtime residents of Springfield, and there is quite a divide over there. One thing he did do was he asked a lot of the Haitian people, do you eat cats? And they all started laughing. Well, not all of them. Some of them started laughing. No, we don't eat cats. I don't know what you're talking about. But others did not want to respond directly to that question. And you could see a look of almost fear or concern that came across their faces. And they just chose to not answer it at all. I'm going to tell you a little story about a trip I took to Amityville, New York, about 15 years ago, with a girl I was dating at the time. Her name was Patty, and she really wanted to go. She was a big fan of the movie, and she wanted to go see the house. And so we went down to Amityville, and we looked for the house. Now, the house has been remodeled. At that time, it had been remodeled. You couldn't identify it. You know, the movie, the iconic windows that looked like eyeballs, and the house had been remodeled by that time, so you couldn't tell. She knew what the address was, but the address on Ocean Road or Ocean Street, whatever, that had also been changed. And when you drove down that particular street, there were police all over the place checking out license plates of cars driving down that street to see if they were out of state, because of all of the attention that house was getting, probably still gets, even today, because of its status as probably the world's most famous haunted house. We went into a pizza joint after almost getting run out of town by the police. And I started asking the people waiting in line to make their orders. And I said, so you like a longtime resident here? Yeah, I lived in Amityville for like 20 years. What about that house? What's the deal with that house? And none of them, and I talked to about a dozen people because I was curious and I wanted to hear a local perspective about it. None of those people, and I was so shocked by this, none of those people wanted to talk about it. And they would look at you like you were some kind of an invader, like you were evil all of a sudden, like you were just, get out of here. We don't want to talk to you, outsider. That's definitely the vibe that I was getting from locals when you brought up the house. You could talk about anything else. You could talk about Bethpage Black, the legendary golf course, which is close by there. You could talk about New York City itself. You could talk about whatever, the Yankees. But if you talked about that house, that was it for you. So I imagine that a lot of that same thing goes on within the Haitian community. Voodoo is something that is practiced throughout that entire 11 million person country. Remember I said last night that a good portion of the people there practice Catholicism. Some people are a different religion, but it's 100% voodoo that goes on in Haiti. Now, some people obviously take it more seriously than others, and some people go and perform the rituals of voodoo. And we saw on video last night, I think again on the extension, exactly how far they go. And there are animal sacrifices in that religion, whether it's just for show or whether they actually believe that sacrificing a goat or a goose or a cat is going to improve their lives. But I believe that that is probably what's going on in Springfield, Ohio. You're not going to tell me that you import 20, 30,000 people, all from the same country, put them in the same American town, of 50 or 60,000 and tell me they're not going to take their customs and their rituals with them. There's no invisible barrier that says, oh, and by the way, if you're coming here, you're going to leave all that stuff behind. They come with their way of life. Even if they're looking for a better life, they still bring the things that are dear to them. And I believe their rituals and their religion is that. And they don't think they're doing anything wrong because in their culture, they're not. And nobody has stepped up to tell them any different. And then there's the language barrier. And that is the problem with mass immigration too quickly. We are going to break, and we're going to go to the extension on shadowdavis.com for you all access members. I'll see you there in 2 minutes. For everybody else, don't forget, next week on the show, we're going to have Maggie Hope Braun come on Wednesday or Thursday. She says she's got to win some very good news to report for us, so I can't wait for that. And then on Tuesday night, it's going to be 12-year career paramedic Chet Chisholm, who is going to join the show. He also was one of the guys who testified at the NCI, I think the very first hearing the NCI held in Nova Scotia a couple of years ago. So Chet joins the show next Tuesday night. Maggie Hope Braun is going to come on next Wednesday or next Thursday night. And we're probably going to have more guests come on than that as well next week because people have been asking, hey, where's your guests been? You guys have a fantastic weekend, and I will talk to you on Monday night at 8 o'clock Central for another Shadow at Night live stream. And for you all access members, I will see you on the website, shadowdavis.com, in 2 minutes. I love you all, and I appreciate you all, and I'll see you soon.